Hey guys, Joel Black here from E-Cinch. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for taking time to check out this tutorial on how to price your event services. And let me tell you guys, this is a hot topic. I mean, I can't go online without seeing questions about how much do I price for this headcount, or what would you price for this style of service? So today we're going to go over it all. We're going to go over the different pricing mechanisms that you need to use to account for the guest count, the time frame, the location of the event, mileage fees, all of these things. I know it can feel like advanced algebra when you're thinking about number of people and length and mileage and all of those things, but it's okay because I got you covered. This is my passion. This is what I do. Before we jump in, though, let me ask you one favor, small one. Subscribe to the channel. We're always putting out content on how to help you grow your event business. So subscribe. There's no harm in it. Also, like the video, just because that makes me feel nice. So without any further ado, let's just jump right in. Okay, so the first thing we need to talk about is the different types of pricing mechanisms. So there's basically like four main types that I like to use, and that's a price per item, a price per person, a price per person per hour, and a price per hour. So let's first start and look at the price per item, break it down, and look at some examples. So the price per item is pretty straightforward. This will be used for products that you just want to charge a set price for. For example, take this awesome trailer bar rental here. We charge $600 to rent this out for the day. So, you'll want to rent it, it's $600. Pretty straightforward. Now, let's complicate it a little bit more. What about glassware? Oftentimes, we want to suggest multiple glasses per individual person. Like a double old-fashioned, my typical starting suggestion is 2 double old-fashioned glasses per person. So that way, if there's 100 people, I'm suggesting 200 glasses. Another one for caterers is like cupcakes. They want to sell cupcakes by the dozen. Maybe they want to suggest a half serving per person and have the client pick out 3 different flavors, so it totals 1.5 servings per guest. So for this example, for every 24 people, they want to suggest 1 order. So that's the price per item. The benefit of this pricing type is you can edit that suggested quantity, whereas when you're using like a price per person, typically that's just going to be for every single person at the event, and you don't really edit that quantity. So yeah, that's price per item. Now let's jump into price per person. The price per person is a pretty easy one. This is used for any time you just want to charge based on the number of people attending the event. For example, take my self-service beverage station here. I charge $4 per person flat. So if 100 people are attending, it's going to be $400. The length of the event really doesn't affect this activation because they're non-alcoholic beverages. So people tend to have 1 or 2, and not everyone has one. Whereas an alcoholic beverage, you want to charge price per person per hour because, people tend to drink 1 alcoholic beverage per hour. So the longer the event is, the more you need to charge. So that said, I typically use the price per person per hour more often. So let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at that one. As I just said, the price per person per hour is the pricing type that I use the most. This pricing mechanism takes in account not only the number of people, but also the length of the event. So you're going to use this most times when you're pricing something that you're going to use more of the longer the event goes. For instance, disposables. The longer the event goes, the more napkins, straws, cups, trash bags, things like that I'm going to use. So I want to price not only based on the person, but also based on the length of the event. And I'll use a price per person per hour to price this. Also, kind of on the same price per person per hour strategy, but a different variation of it, my alcohol packages. I bundle them, and for the first hour, you want to charge 1.5 servings per person, and then you want to do 1 serving per person for every hour thereafter, because that's how you charge for alcohol, and that's just the kind of standard formula that we use in the mobile bar industry. So with that, I have to, instead of just doing a straight price per person that doesn't account for those more servings that first hour, I need to use ranges of time. So here in this example for my packages, you'll see the first is 2 hours. I don't do hour events, so I'll do an hour event, but I'm going to charge you for 2 hours worth of service. So I priced the first 2 hours to do 2.5 servings per person, and then I scale it by 1 serving per person every hour thereafter and cap it at 5.5 because that's my max out point, so people don't get overserved. Anyway, so that's just how I do it, and that's another way of doing it, but utilizing both the number of people in conjunction with the length of the event. Very, very valuable pricing type. The last pricing type we need to review is the price per hour. Now, this is mainly used for staffing. Like the price per item, it's pretty straightforward. However, there are a couple of variants and thresholds that you want to understand. As you can see here, I have a bartender. I charge $50 per hour for my bartenders. But I also need to factor in the time it takes for the staff to set up and break down. Now, my standard is the staff will arrive 2 hours before the event to set up, and they'll stay an hour after the event ends to clean up and break everything down and load out. Also, I need to consider how much staff I need based on the guest count so that we're always offering awesome service. So again, my standard is 1 bartender per 75 guests. Lastly, if the event goes longer than 8 hours, I also need to charge for overtime because in my state of California, if a shift's longer than 8 hours, you have to pay time and a half. So now that I've considered all of these factors, no matter the guest count or the time frame, I'm always charging the right amount. Okay, before we move any farther, we got to slow down. And I just want to mention that prior to pricing your products and your services, you have to do a cost analysis. Okay, you can't just make up your pricing. You need to know how much what you're selling costs. If that makes sense. I'll make it make sense. If you don't know a lot about cost analysis, I am going to give you a quick overview, but if you need more, check out the blog article linked in the description of this video. There's also a free cost analysis worksheet that you can download. We try to make it as easy as possible on you. So if you need extra help, check that out. But here's just a quick general overview. So the first key to cost analysis is you need to break down your cost in the same format that you're selling the item in. So for this example, I'm going to use a disposables bundle. So this is cups, straws, napkins, trash bags. So as you'll see from this cost analysis worksheet, this is the free download that you have here. I've written down, cocktail napkins, straws, cups, trash bags. I write down in column D here, the vendor that we get them from, what she wrote. And then you want to put how many come in each one. So I buy the napkins by 250, straws come in 2,400 packs, and so on. Then the servings per unit. So each of these is just like 1 serving per unit. So that's pretty straightforward. Every hour, we're going to use 1 of these. Then you put the cost. So the napkins are $5.99. And in the gray column next to it, it breaks down the cost per serving. So a cocktail napkin, 1 cocktail napkin costs 3 cents. Now I can price it. Now that I know that the 1 napkin costs 3 cents, I can price it. And I know if I want 100% markup, just to make it 6 cents. And that's pretty straightforward and easy. And that gives me a 50% profit margin on the item. Now, all I have to do is add up all of my costs per item, all of my prices per item, and then that gives me my total cost for the bundle and price for the bundle. And we made it really easy. If you just go over here to this bundles tab, you'll see here on line 7, we have the disposables bundle. You can skip the columns B, C, and D. That's if you want to sell like everything in bulk. We want to sell it per person. So column F, you'll see that our cost is 40 cents for 1 of each of these items. And then we're going to charge 80 cents because again, 100% markup. And 50% margin is what we're going for. That's a gross margin. Gross margin means before you take out your general cost of doing business, the rent, the electricity. So this is just cost of goods sold. And that's why we want a nice, healthy 50% margin, because we need to make sure that once we pay rent and all of this stuff, that we're running at about a 30 to 40% total profit, put money in your pocket, take home type of deal. So that's it. That's the quick breakdown. I know it's a lot. So like I said, if you're not very familiar with this, go check out the blog article linked in the description, download this worksheet here, and it will help you out, and you'll be a cost analysis whiz in no time. Now let's tie everything together in a pretty little bow, and I'm going to show you exactly how I price my bar services. Let's put in some fake event info so you can see how I lay everything out. The first section of my package is the select your alcohol section. Here I have all of the different alcohol packages that I offer. For this, I'm using the price per person per hour mechanism, and I'm scaling the pricing to accommodate 1.5 servings per person for the first hour and 1 serving per person for every hour thereafter. So for a 3-hour event, you can see my alcohol bundles range from $5 a person for the sensible up to $10.50 per person for the premium. Next, let's look at my suggested services. Here, I've pre-selected all of the items to be in the cart since pretty much every client needs them. The bar equipment is sold as a price per item, and since I need one of these setups per bartender, I've set it to recommend 1 kit per 75 people. My sodas are a price per person per hour, since the longer the event goes, the more sodas I'm going to use for mixers and for non-alcoholic drinkers. The ice is sold as a cost per item as well. And like the bar equipment, I use thresholds to suggest 2 pounds per guest. I also add in 2 extra bags of ice to chill down the beer and wine. So that's why the suggested quantity is a 7 there and not a 5 if it was just 2 pounds per guest on a 40-pound bag. Anyway, we already went over the disposables, so let's just skip that and let's move on now to the cocktails section. For the cocktails, I only charge for the mixers and garnishes since I sell the alcohol separately. I use the cost per item feature here again. I charge $2 per serving, and I'm suggesting 1 serving per guest to start. My mindset here is that I want guests to select like 3 to 4 cocktails, and I use the price per item feature so that I can adjust the servings according to the client's final selections and any other details I might collect during the client consultation. So I have that flexibility here. Then I have all of my bar rentals right here, you'll see, and I have different sections for these, but pretty much all of these are sold as a cost per item. I do use thresholds on a lot of the rentals so that I can make some suggested quantities there. But we kind of already went over this with glassware, so we'll move on to the last section, which is the staffing section. We did talk about this, but just to go over it real quick, I have the cost per hour feature here. I'm accounting for the setup and breakdown time, and I'm also factoring in the suggested quantity, so 1 bartender per 75 guests. And this is how I do it, guys. This is exactly how I lay out my pricing. Woo! That's it, guys. If you stuck around this long, congratulations on putting in the work. I hope you have a good grasp on how to tackle pricing your event services now. If you do and you enjoyed this video, just do me a solid. Push the subscribe button. Watch our next videos as they come out. Like the video as well. I always like that. And yeah, if you want more help with this, check out e-cinch.com. That's, you know, my pricing platform that you saw here at the end and how I host my packages. If you want to try that out, it's completely free to try, and we'd love to work with you on that. And if you don't and you just have questions, go to the website. There's a way to contact us on there through the chat bot, and yeah, let us know. But we're here to help, we're here to serve, and as always, have a wonderful, fantastic day, evening, morning, whatever it is, wherever you're at, and we hope to see you on the next one. Peace.